yet another episode of Learning Perspectives. And as you can see my screen, today's topic is mergers and acquisition. Yes, so today we are going to discuss mergers and acquisition, and we will look at two different movies. Um, One from a movie called Yaadein, and another from a scene from a movie called Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Right. So let's go ahead and watch this very cute scene, very short scene, and then we will understand what exactly is being portrayed here. Right. So let us understand what was happening in this movie and what is the actress talking about. So, a context of this is that Ronit is played by Hrithik Roshan and he belongs to a business family. He's one of the sons in a business family. And the woman also, her name is Manishka, who you saw on this scene, is another daughter from another business family. Now, these two business houses are conducting a merger where they decided to merge their businesses as well as thought of marrying of their sons and daughters, right? And I think this is quite common here in India. When I say here, I mean India, right? So when businesses decide to expand, they think that it is okay to get associated personally as well, right? So this is what is being shown to us in particular scene. Now what happens, right? So when they decide to do that, Ronit is extremely frustrated and he just cannot understand this idea because he really likes someone else. um, but this is not coming naturally to the people around him because they think that when financially two business houses are coming together, then personally also those businesses should come together. We will understand in financial terms only what a business situation means, what is merger in a business situation. So let's go ahead and understand the merger concept. So, like you would know, merger comes from a term called merge. Merge means saath mein aana or coming together, right? So, or joining together, right? So, it is a form of corporate restructuring. So, corporate restructuring means whenever a company wants to either expand or contract, it is called corporate restructuring. So, there would be some restructuring happening because of this, right? So, a merger definitely leads to corporate restructuring. Rather, under corporate restructuring, mergers, takeovers, acquisition, all these form part of corporate restructuring. Now, when two businesses come together, there is obviously um, liquidation of power and all because other people are coming inside the business, different people, which is a different business house, then the power is moved in the management. So the current management changes. Maybe it becomes 50-50%. So it goes down from 100% control to 50%, right? So management is moving around. So there is a dilution of power. So before we go there in detail, we'll understand what are the different types of mergers that one can see uh, generally, right? So there is something called a vertical merger, a horizontal merger, and a conglomerate. To go in a little bit of detail, I'll tell you that horizontal mergers is generally in the same business or the same industry, right? So some of the examples that we can think of is the first very simple and basic example we can think of is Facebook, right? So Facebook had some mergers with WhatsApp, Instagram, and all of them were in the social media platform. The same industry, and all of them came together to do a lot of business. Another example could be think of two online streaming platforms, right? So this was Disney and Hotstar. these guys came together, and again, this is a horizontal merger happening, right? So this is the same industry, and then they are exploring visibility and strength of each other, and this is leading to a lot of benefit for all the organizations involved. Another form of mergers is the vertical merger. Now, what is this? This is like going back in the supply chain. For example, or just being in the supply chain. So, for example, if I manufacture shoes, now I think, and shoes are made up of leather. So I think of manufacturing leather as well. I hope that makes sense. So um, think of two companies that are in this type of a business, right? What could that be? So think of Walt Disney, right? So Walt Disney is in the entertainment business for some time. It had done a merger with Pixar. Now Pixar was into animation, so this was more like a vertical merger at the time. This helped in a lot in terms of animation for Walt Disney, and Walt Disney was an entertainment company that also had got so much of benefit along with Pixar because Walt Disney was a conglomerate merger. Now, this merger basically happens when two unrelated industries come together, right? So, what can we think of, right? So, we can think of Wrigley's chewing gum. I hope you know Wrigley's. Wrigley's, the Orbit. Might recognize it with Orbit. And you know Mars, right? So Mars has products such as Snickers and M&Ms. So these are products of Mars. So Mars is a chocolate confectionery, while Wrigley is a chewing gum manufacturer. So these two came together. So these are unrelated. This is where Mars was looking at, diversification into non-chocolate confectionery, and also it was beneficial for Wrigley's, and so that they can expand their horizons, both companies. So we will discuss, essentially the next form of corporate restructuring. And we will go on to discuss some advantages as well. So you need to hold on. Before this, we will go ahead and watch one more scene from a movie called Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Here we go, guys.
Oh,
Right. So the scene that you just saw is from a movie called Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and the cake man himself was Walter. Now, what is happening is he's just walking inside the building, and his colleagues tell him that, "Do you know we just got acquired?" Um, and he says, "Yeah, I just heard." So, what is happening is that all of these three colleagues work in an organization called Life Magazine, and this Life magazine is getting acquired by a digital company, right? There is going to be a lot of improvements there because this is a print magazine, um, and digitally now the world was, now they are getting acquired. So they are all very worried, and these colleagues are thinking, now what will happen? We might lose our jobs. So this really happens when an acquisition takes place, right? So acquisition is generally a bigger company taking over a small company, right? So as you can see on my screen, it's clearly mentioned when one company takes over another company, and the owner in the process becomes the new person, right? Um, while in merger, when two companies come together, there is a new company that is created. But here, the difference is that the owner, the bigger person, bigger company would take over the smaller company, right? Generally, that is how it plays out, right? So, sometimes the already existing uh, employees are absorbed in the company, while sometime they are they are let go. They are fired, so they have to look for new opportunities at the time. So this movie was about that in the background, so you can have a look there. So that this is the acquisition aspect. So why do companies do all this, right? So why do they go through all this trouble of merger, acquisition? Trouble in the sense because it involves a lot of aspects, right? So there is a lot of paperwork and a lot of things that happen. Like you saw in the scene, he mentioned there would be downsizing. That means cutting of employees. So but there are big benefits also. There's such a strategic benefit. Now two companies come together so that they can have strategic benefits. It starts with diversification of their portfolio, risk management, so that they can become bigger and better companies. Now economies of scale, especially now economies of scale mean that now you can produce one unit of good at a lower cost, so which you were not able to produce earlier, but because you've been in business so long, now you can produce it at a lower cost. So now when two companies come together who are in the same business for a long time, and they all use each other's strength, they can figure out a way to efficiently produce that product and at a lower cost. Complementary resources, right? So complementary resources mean that, let's say there is a startup which has an extremely innovative product, and there is a company that has been in business for some time. So a company that has been in business for some time would have good marketing in place, would have strong base, consumer base, and a new startup might not have that. So a new startup and this company coming together can join forces so that one company can have the innovative product. uh, Both of them can utilize their strengths, right? So uh, marketing process can be understood by the startup, and the bigger company can understand the marketing, the innovative product of the startup. So both companies benefit and gain advantage through complementary product. Right. So quickly, let's look at the difference between mergers and acquisition. So in mergers, obviously a new company is created, while in acquisition, acquiring the business of another. So the acquiring company takes over the target company. And mergers generally are mutual in nature, and two companies would decide and come together. While in acquisition, this can be or cannot be true, right? So how do you define that, right? So there are friendly acquisitions and there are non-friendly acquisitions. So non-friendly acquisitions means a hostile takeover, and we will look at that right now with a case study. Like I mentioned earlier, there would be dilution of power between the companies, right? Because a new management would walk in, so there would be a dilution of power. While in acquisition, the absolute power lies with the acquiring company, right? So that is how it would change the scenario. Right. So recently there was an acquisition, and this was a hostile takeover, where Future Retail Group, which you have heard as Big Bazaar in India, they had a lot of stores which were taken over by Reliance Retail Industries, um, and through a hostile takeover, which means it was not a friendly takeover, and they kind of took over those of Future Retail. All right, guys. So I hope this concept of mergers and acquisition made sense to you and you understood something. If this created any value in your life, please like, share, and subscribe the video. Please share it with your friends also. If you want to join our closed group classes, please click on the link below and subscribe to that so that you can be in our Zoom classes and you can have one-on-one interaction with. All right, guys. Till then, please take care, stay safe, and stay healthy. Thank you so much.